Welcome back to the Plastic General. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a close look at Conte Collectibles' massive set of USGIs. But the real exciting part about the show is going to be not one, but 4 different US landing crafts. And the final one will be the most exciting landing craft that you never knew existed. Sound interesting? Let's get started. Fire! So the first set that we're going to get into was created by Conte Collectibles, and the creator of the company was Richard Conte, a very extravagant toy soldier collector, producer. And when he came on the scene in 2000, he sort of redefined modern toy soldiers. He made them slightly bigger than 132. The figures were more round, and the sculpting went way through the roof. Nobody had ever done it the way he did it. He started the revolution in modern toy soldiers. So the set we're going to review today, they call the USGI set, and there are no less than 27 whopping poses in this crazy and insane set. Are you ready? Let's get into this. So let's kick the first door in with the first GI. He's obviously some kind of hell-raising sergeant. He's got a cigar in his mouth. He's firing a Thompson with his right hand, and he's holding a captured German Schmeiser in the other. This guy's got tons of attitude. He's ready to kick some Nazi butt. Pose number 2, GI advancing. Now, when they made this set, they expected it to be used for the D-Day invasion scenarios. Great for the Normandy beach landings. Pose number 3, kneeling, holding onto rifle, probably hiding behind a tank trap. Number 4, officer waving the troops on with his pistol. Number 5, throwing grenade. The only criticism I have of this figure is doesn't have a rifle or a weapon. Maybe he dropped it. Still a nice pose. I could always glue a rifle slung off of his back. 6, GI pointing, holding his rifle. Probably some kind of officer. 7, standing sharpshooting rifle. 8, standing sharpshooting Browning, leaning forward, kind of totally in action. Great figure for hiding behind a stone wall or anything, shooting around a corner. Figure number 9, kneeling sharpshooting rifle. Pose number 10, advancing with rifle. Pose number 11, firing a Thompson machine gun from waist while slightly leaning forward, suggesting that he's advancing. Kneeling, sharpshooting a Browning heavy machine gun. You can see the tip of the Browning has a bit of a bipod. Now, some of you may be noticing that the figure has a different base. It's because they came on very thick, rocky bases. And I find that's a trend nowadays with a lot of toy soldier sets, where sometimes the bases can be a centimeter thick. But, sometimes I don't want the guy on mountaintops, and I don't want to have a thick base. So what I do is I very carefully cut him off of the base, and then I use a form of super glue, which is called Maxi Cure, to affix him to I think 3 centimeter polystyrene bases. Nice neutral bases. Poses 13 and 14 are a machine gun team. You have the one figure, he's feeding ammunition into the 30 caliber Browning machine gun. We're just over half done the poses in this set. Poses 15 and 16 are bazooka team. Kneeling, sharpshooting a bazooka. That's an anti-tank weapon. And you have the loader. He's loading the rocket His hand fits nicely on top of off of the end of the bazooka. And some of these figures were molded in multi-parts, and in the factory they actually glued them together. Pose 17, leaning forward, sharpshooting rifle. Great action pose. Poses 18 and 19, two GIs. It looks like they're dashing from the doors of their Higgins landing crafts. 20 and 21, an officer advancing, firing his pistol, and a regular GI with his rifle at waist. Figure 22, sharpshooting a rifle from the prone position. Poses 23 and 24, standing, sharpshooting slightly downwards with rifle, and the other figure, unfortunately, is getting shot while running. He's being thrown back by the impact of the bullet. Little boys in the 1950s would have swallowed their tongues if they would have received this set. The next two poses are wounded poses. This figure looks pretty dead to me, and this guy's screaming in agony. He's just been shot in his chest. These would be poses 25 and 26. Fantastic detail, great expression. Look at that guy. He's totally in pain. It's a sad one. This guy's lying on his back, hunched upwards because he's lying on his backpack. Sad. Some plastic mother and family is going to be mourning his death. And there it is in all of its glory. All 27 poses by Conte Collectibles. Wow. I really, really wish that Richard Conte would continue making World War II sets. He made about 4 or 5 different sets, and he never had any less than 16 poses. But he went way overboard with this one. And we all love him to this day for this one. So this whole D-Day craze really took off after the release of 1998's Saving Private Ryan. So there were a lot of sets that came out depicting D-Day. So therefore, a lot of landing craft vehicles were released. So the first one we're going to talk about, it's a very basic landing craft. It was released in a large playset. It was the D-Day playset by BMC is the company. It's very standard. It's plastic. The front door opens. You can drill out the back, driver section here. The machine gunners would be sitting in these little cupolas here. The thing runs for about $10 to $15. Very standard. Some collectors buy tons of them. But the next one up, there's a bit of a hierarchy here. So let's go to tier 2. It's also a 132 scale Higgins boat landing craft. But this one is a kit by a company called Lindbergh. It's very much available. And it's easy to build. It's a far more realistic. You can see the difference. These are supposed to be depicting the same landing craft. The machine gun positions, swivel, the captain's section over here with the steering wheel, the motor, the interior, the door slides open. It's great. If you want one landing craft, this is the one for you. Oh, it also has the section where this releases the front door. And it's got realistic details in the back with the propeller. So for our next landing craft is going to be the LCM-3. And it's a much larger landing craft. It was designed to not only deliver personnel, but jeeps and small tanks like the Stuart. Look at the size difference. On the top here, it has 2 machine gun positions with armor or shields guarding the gunners. Up here is the driver, or the person steering the boat. It's got the steering wheel in there. It's got a huge door, gated door that comes down where you can fit all the troops and vehicles. This will give you a good idea of size comparison. This kit was made by Trumpeter. It's a 1/35th scale kit, but everyone cheats with it. It's fantastic. And everybody I know has one. Are you ready for the big surprise? A giant 1/32 scale LCT, complete with double Bofors anti-aircraft gun, a single 20mm Bofors anti-aircraft gun with seats, a giant cargo platform, and a ramp big enough to house a Sherman tank, or two, for that matter. So I know you're gonna ask, where do you get a 132 scale LCT? Well, I cheated. Back in the 60s, Remco came out with this landing craft, and it was called the Anzio Invader. And you can look for it on eBay and find them. But the catch was, it was a really silly vehicle made for little boys under 10 years old back in the 60s. So it had a lot of goofy, weird components like oversized guns and an airplane launcher and all kinds of components that are not realistic. And so I saw this thing and I thought, wow, look at the size of it. I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna remove everything that's not realistic. And then I'm gonna buy some 1/35 scale kits. Like Italeri has a special kit that has a bunch of boofers and a lot of components, like the radio antenna and the anti-aircraft, and it has like depth chargers and stuff like that. And so I stripped this thing of all of its silly details, and then I rebuilt it. Like, for example, the tower here, the command tower. I put the door on there. I put the life rafts. I put a window. I glued this mast on there. I added on the anti-aircraft, and then the ammunition from the anti-aircraft. And from an old Remco tank, I removed the double boofers from the old Duster tank. I created railings on the back, and I repaired this. Now, let me say, I'll tell you a funny story. So I saw this thing on eBay, and it had a few cracks in it, and I ordered it from some guy in Argentina. And I arrive home one day, and there's a box suddenly at my door. And I hear the box rattling around on the inside. I open up the box, and there is the coveted Anzio Invader. It was shattered, completely shattered. This thing in mint condition is worth almost $1,000 US funds. And so I fixed it. I put it all back together. I used little thin sheets of polystyrene, and I rebuilt it completely, and now it's better than ever. Let's see everything in action. Before we go, I want to mention our official sponsor, MyDogTag.com. Yeah, MyDogTag.com. Specialists in reproduction, World War II, Vietnam War, and Korean War personalized dog tags. Remember the coupon code, the Plastic General, and you will get 10% off your next order. So that's it for today. That's all the toy soldier stuff I can handle for one day. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Speaking of which, please remember to subscribe, then hit the little bell so I can notify you whenever we come up with a new episode, which is twice a week. I'm giving you plastic gold twice a week. And remember to hit like, because I know you love 132 scale World War II plastic toy soldiers. My name is Christian Aldo. I'm the Plastic General. Bye for now.